Morris will take it at his own end zone. That'll be the first touchback today. And Dan, a flag is down.
Yeah, I think it was offsides on the kick return right there.
That'll be another penalty against Riverside, and indeed it is. Your thoughts about Nicholas Pope, who began the game before he was benched, 3 of 15 for only 40 yards. It didn't feel like he was that bad, but after taking a look at some of the incompletions by Morris, you start to understand that Riverside's kind of bottled up this passing game.
He couldn't hold his own in the pocket. I mean, he was just overthrowing everything, it seemed like. He was putting too much on it, and that's give credit to the RCC defensive line. They were constantly underneath his nose, we could say, bringing him down.
Underneath more than that. I mean, he's been in trouble since the coin toss, really. 17-6 Tigers lead. Dang, they got to get some water up here in the booth.
They do.
Even though it's frigid 68, it still has been very hot and dry up here in the booth, despite the cold air brushing from the Pacific Ocean here. And we'll redo this kickoff. It's a line drive by Camacho, taken by the up back. That'll be number 25, Morris again, out to the 35. And he's able to bully his way to around the 42. A solid return by Morris. And now LA Harbor in an interesting scenario. They have a quarterback's controversy of themselves, and who ended the half and looks to begin the third. Tyler Sestich out of West Adams Prep is about ready to take the field.
Yeah, this is a team in LA Harbor that has used up to 4 quarterbacks this season. Very interesting. Talk about a quarterback controversy. You got a whole platoon playing. I guess they're playing
seriously
quarterback by committee.
A revolving door. Clark Livingston, who was the supposed backup, injured his shoulder in week number 3 out of La Habra, and now he's out into the game. Tyler Sestich, freshman out of Mary Starr, and we'll have a false start against LA Harbor. First and 15 for him. But Sestich ended the second quarter 1 of 4 for only 7 yards passing, and has his team in an early hole. First and 15 here from their own 36.
You're given great field position, and then instantly you're backed up with some. It's, I guess, in LA Harbor fashion.
Marquise Waters, in typical LA fashion per se, 0 catches for him today off of 5 targets. He's been an unreliable receiver for them. Sestich, a quick drop, swings it out far side, intended for Walker, but a little too low, maybe even more than that. Pass is incomplete. Now 1 for 5 today for Tyler Sestich.
Boy, this defensive front is getting to the quarterback so fast. Typically, a quarterback has up to 3 seconds. It seems like that he has a second and a half to throw this ball away.
Yeah, if that. It's been a dominant performance by the defensive line. 0 sacks for the Tigers in the opening half, but that defensive presence has been felt. Second and 15. Flushed out of the pocket. Sestich fires on the run, intended for his main target, Mike Andrews, who's been a busy man today. Catch number 4, and it was 101 against Treshawn Broughton, and the receiver making the better of that illustrious defensive core group on that one, nearly a first down.
Yeah, although Treshawn Broughton was all over that wide receiver, the wide receiver still managing to get that ball away from him.
Mike Andrews, the sophomore out of Jefferson, he has been a solid contributor for the absence play of Marquise Waters. Back the throw, Sestich hit as he throws, and the pass is incomplete. That was another third down attempt. No good here for the Seahawks. Now we're looking at 2 of 9. LA Harbor on third downs, and they'll have to punt.
Well, they held them. That was the question. And will LA Harbor spark something here at the start of this second half? And it turns out nothing will come of it, despite the great field position.
Tyler Sestich will begin the football game as the apparent starter for the remainder, but he's 2 of 7 for only 20 yards against Riverside's stifling, suffocating defense, where the Tigers also not only defensively but offensively were one of the best in that win over LA Harbor. That Jack Moore kick will be down at around the 21-yard line. But, Dan, I talked to you during the pregame. Riverside in that 71-0 win last week had 850 yards of offense. In this game, we're sitting at around 225.
What a difference a whole year makes in that victory. 71-0 it's hard to fathom. It's hard to just think about that. Like, what was LA Harbor doing that day? I guess they didn't even show up. But here they definitely showed up, a 17-6 lead, and just getting this third quarter started. And it seems like it's a completely different team, for sure.
Yeah, LA Harbor's really they've been an interesting storyline as they still have to play, Dan. They still have to play Mount Sac. They still have to play Chaffee and Citrus. I mean, do you see this team potentially upsetting a potential playoff ball club in the near future?
They could play playoff busters where a team might need a win, and then all of a sudden here comes LA Harbor and they upset them, and that team will not be able to get to the playoffs.
And it all starts as they play Mount Sac in a few weeks. Christopher Anderson had a run for 10. This one goes for no gain. 2nd down and 10 here from their own 32. And Nick King, he's been electric, and he has a 4-wide set, maybe looking to throw on this one.
Nothing fancy from Riverside tonight. Just a basic football, basic handoffs to Christopher Anderson, basic routes run by the wide receivers.
They're getting ready for next week. An underneath throw to Michael Moore, and that'll be the first catch of the day here for the Arizona commit. And he's looking at under 10 catches all year after committing to Arizona University. He has been a library quiet tight end here for Riverside. We need him as we near the playoffs.
He's the perfect guy to line up in the slot because of his size. He's always going to be a matchup problem for anybody.
At 6'2", 245 pounds. Matthew Moore would be a problem for just about everybody. 8 receptions, now make it 9 for 71 yards this season. A 3rd down and 3. Handoff goes to Walker to the outside. No, that's Nicholas King who takes the end around. And the quarterback on the keeper, good for 6. Move the chains for the Riverside Tigers.
Finally, a little bit of action from Nicholas King. Although just sliding right there for that first down. But not really a night that we've usually seen from Nicholas King, where he's got already possibly over 50 yards of rushing.
He had 58 in that win to go along with a touchdown against Fullerton College, and he's continued his success in this matchup, over 45 yards on the ground in this one. 1st down and 10 from their own 45. King looking left, still looking, pass rush coming, in trouble, steps up, trying to evade, and does, passes the line of scrimmage, and sprints ahead for 3. That'll be a coverage tackle there by the LA Harbor Seahawks, as King has looked deep on a number of occasions, but just does not have the looks that he wants. Is 2nd down and 7.
This whole strategy of RCC definitely lets me know that they want to keep Nicholas King in that pocket and allow him to learn tonight.
Yeah.
I mean, right there under pressure, deciding to stay in the pocket instead of usually rolling out.
9 carries for 51 yards for Nicholas King. 2nd down and 7. Back to throw. King fans it out to Tremel Davis. 45 across midfield, and he's upended at the 49 of LA Harbor, and he's down and hurt. Tremel Davis took a punishing blow right to the head as the tackle was made for LA Harbor by Calvin Murphy. And Tremel Davis will feel that hit tomorrow in the shivering cold of Los Angeles. He felt that one ice cold down there on the near sideline.
Boy, he took one.
Right to the chops.
Yeah, he did. I mean, geez, it just flipped him right on his back right there. Great hit.
What in the world is this music doing during an injury? It's a small-town world. Well, Tremel Davis is lined head over heels at the 50-yard line. He will get up on his own power, luckily. He's the number 3 halfback for the Tigers. That is one of the listen, the fight during the postgame last week may have caused Denzel Foster to sit this game, but how about the notion that we may not play our best player with an opportunity to get injured with a winnable game here against LA Harbor. When you see Tremel Davis down, it's like, okay, well, at least it wasn't Denzel Foster. I'll get your thoughts after this one. 3rd down and 3 off a 4-wide set. Morin, the tight end, with 1 catch today. He's lined up in the slot. Halfback is Anderson. Play action, fires to Morin, shimmies to the 45, and is able to reach for the 39. That'll be more than enough to move the chains. The tight end good for 9.
Yeah, well, going back to your point about, hey, losing Denzel Foster would be disastrous, but at least, well, at least I shouldn't say, with the other running back going down, you bring up a great point about that.
Yeah.
And maybe they are resting Denzel Foster. Maybe he did get a little sprain here, sprain there, and that's why he's sitting out tonight.
Ironically enough, they're not resting Isaac Whitney with 3 catches today. He's pushed to the left side, going his way, but finding Matthew Morin is Nicholas King, and that'll be a pickup of 16 yards of the tight end Morin. Now catch number 3 for him, and now 23 first downs for Riverside and only 4 for LA Harbor. Now they're getting into a groove, catching on all cylinders, and that'll be the 3rd first down on this drive alone, Dan.
Well, you've been calling it. You want to see Matthew Morin get involved, and right here, definitely already 2 catches in the second half.
Morin was the transfer from San Diego State University as a quarterback and also Chaparral High School, converted to a tight end, and he's finally getting into a niche here. Following only 3 catches after 3 weeks, he's starting to become more involved, and a guy like Nicholas King could use a big-body tight end with the stature and the pedigree that Michael Morin has.
You're right, and he's the perfect guy to do that. He's got, like you said, the size, and we've seen him in the Wildcats, so that indicates speed as well.
King, a play action, looking deep, has no one open, flushed out of the pocket, will take it himself. 30, sideline 25, and he tight ropes the chalk and is out of bounds at the 15-yard line of LA Harbor. He needed 15, and he got 15. Move the chains.
Well, finally, Nicholas King getting his legs involved. Typically all night he's been kept in the pocket, and now they unleash him.
King now up to 71 yards rushing the football on 12 carries. He has been about as electric as any running back here in this Riverside offense. Now their 3rd trip in the red zone. They've converted all of their tries, a couple of touchdowns and a field goal, and now have an opportunity to make this thing a blowout here in Los Angeles. A false start called against the wide receiver, Jawan Thomas. Don't see that very often, but Jawan Thomas, an interesting product. He caught a touchdown last week.
He did, and it seemed like Nicholas King was getting everybody involved. Up to 6 guys caught a reception from him.
Now, last week against Fullerton, he got everyone but Michael Morin involved. He's been a busy man here on this drive. 1st and 15. Delay goes to Anderson. 25-20. Zigzags 15. And he's tripped up at the 5. He fumbled the football, but the referees call him down by contact. That would have been the 2nd fumble by a running back today. The first was on that kickoff return, and now the Tigers have to be concerned about these running back woes here in this game.
Well, it just goes to show how valuable Denzel Foster is.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, he's the type of guy who's not fumbling the ball, but despite him being down, well, I guess that was a fortunate thing.
Yeah, Foster, 250 carries, and Dan, 1 fumble. I mean, that's just remarkable here by an illustrious career for Denzel Foster out of J.W. North High School. The sophomore, 0 Division I offers, but he's looking for his first. Play clock down to 2. Single back handoff to Anderson off a counter to the 10. Lowers his shoulder 5, and he's tripped up at around the 4, and a little extracurriculars afterwards as the Tigers are inching their way closer to the goal line now. 3rd down and 3 from inside the 10.
Yeah, they should be able to punch it in very easily.
Well, the sticks are a little bit slow. I have absolutely no clue what the down and distance is, as a matter of fact. But 8:59 to go. The Tigers lead 17-6. And following the LA Harbor 3-and-out to begin the game. Offsides, that'll move the chains. Dan, you've been looking at Nicholas King and his progression, and he, off of the half, has always seemed to look so good. And I think that's the sign of a great coach and a great coordinator, if they're able to, out of the locker room, resurrect whatever they did wrong in the first half.
Right. And it just goes to show how valuable he's going to be in the playoffs. I mean, a guy who's going to be so elusive and so productive.
5 touchdowns and a pick for Nicholas King. My apologies here, Dan,
What's up?
Nicholas King, that was his first interception as a Tiger in the first half. I thought he had one, but, I mean, he even has surprised me. He's been so perfect here for Riverside. 2nd and goal from the 1. Anderson dots the I. It's not James Norman. He gets the call, lowers his shoulder, reaching for the chalk, and he's in. Touchdown, Tigers. It's been a while, but Riverside finds the end zone.